Hey everybody, it's Eric here, and welcome to my new multi-part video series called Your Deceptive Mind. Now, in my past videos, I've shared a lot of my different experiences and how they've helped shape my world and given me a lot of insight into my ways of thinking. Hopefully it's helped you guys out as well. But if you recall from what I said about wisdom, experience is only one part of the equation, the other part being knowledge. And with this new multi-part video series, I want to delve into the science behind thinking and memory and share with you guys why exactly I keep saying to you that your brain is going to be one of your biggest hurdles, why your brain tries to trick you and tries to keep you within your safety zone. You'd actually be surprised that there's a lot of inbuilt evolutionary functions that stop you from employing the critical mind, which is, like I said from the last video, essential to achieving your goals and also allowing you to see your situation for what it really is. With today's video, I want to give you a different perspective, perhaps one that you haven't heard before, on why exactly you are not using your critical thinking, and perhaps give you some insight into those different situations and help you along your own journey. Now, the first idea that I want to share with you guys was shared to me by Elliot Holtz, who is one of my favorite YouTubers. He's a fitness and mentor guru on YouTube, really popular. But the first idea that I want to share with you guys is McLean's Triune Brain. And essentially what McLean is saying is that we have a reptilian brain inside a mammal brain inside a human brain. And just to simplify it further, and this is how it was introduced to me in the beginning, is that we have our reptilian brain in our brainstem that controls our instincts. And then we have the limbic system, which is the mammalian brain that has the more complex emotions. And then finally, the neocortex, which is the developed human brain that has all that higher order stuff like reasoning and creativity and so on. Now, I just want to point out, I know that the brain is completely complex and it's all interconnected, but I want you guys to just take it in this neuroanatomy context for the purpose of this video. Now, it's not hard to see why this reptile, mammal, and human analogy really makes sense. If you think about our evolution as earthlings, we start off, the first sentient beings started off as fish and reptiles, and they have the most basic type of intelligence. They have the instinctual stuff, the need to feed, the need to take a shit, fight or flight, things like that. And when you move on to the next more complex intelligences, like the mammals, primates, birds, and so on, you have the more complex type of emotions. So you have things like lust, the need for intimacy, the need for socialization, justice. Those sort of things are prevalent in the animal world as you move up the intelligences. And then finally, the most obvious one, us humans, the peak of evolution, and we have creativity, problem solving, morality, things like that, and the need for self-actualization. And the reason why I mentioned that is because I just want to quickly mention Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs. All you business and marketing people would have studied this during your course, and just reflect upon what you learn about Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs and see the parallels between the different psychological and physiological needs to the three brains that I'm speaking about today. Now, in today's society and in the past couple hundred years, even millennia, there's been this real focus on the head brain, on the neocortex being the controller of everything else. And it's not, again, hard to see why, because all of our progression as humans and the ability to develop civilizations and create such a wonderful art is because we've accessed the problem-solving skills of the neocortex. And the religion as well has pervaded this idea that sin originates from the body, and to get closer to God, you need to master your body, needs to master the sinful self. However, in today's world, I find that there has been too much focus on the head brain. There's just so much focus that they've associated critical thinking with intelligence, with accessing that head brain, with IQ, with education, and of course that is essential, absolutely essential, but there is this over focus on the head brain, and you have people basically getting paralysis by analysis. You have a lot of people who are highly educated. In fact, we have education at our fingertips. Anybody can figure out how to do anything through Google. However, a lot of people don't take action, and I think you can see that through your own experiences and the people you know in your own lives. But finally, in recent times, science has discovered that there is not just one leader in your brain that controls all the other aspects of your body and your reactions, there's actually the three brains working parallel to each other. So the idea is no longer one leader and a group, but actually a committee, a team working side by side with each other. And I want you to consider that perhaps when you are unable to think critically, it's not because you are not educated enough or that your IQ is not high enough or anything like that, but it's actually when your three brains are not in sync with each other. And if you think about it, in a committee, in a team, if one player decides not to play ball, decides not to cooperate, or decides to do its own thing, it throws the whole unit out of balance. And that's the moments where you are not able to see your situation for what it really is and to employ your critical thinking skills. And just to illustrate my point, first off, like I said, people who overthink, and that's when they overuse the head brain. But also, the other times with the instincts and with the emotions, they can take control as well. And with the instincts, I'm the perfect example. When I'm hungry, I become that Snickers bar ad. I'm not me when I'm hungry. People who know me know that I get impatient, I get irrational, I get really snappy at people. It's just I become this different person altogether. And the funny thing is that when my instincts of hunger decide to go out of whack, the rest of my other systems, my other brains, go out of whack as well, because I convince myself with my head brain that no, you have the right to be angry. You have the right to yell at that waiter or that waitress because they're not bringing your food. That may be true, so it's all very logical, but it's not very resourceful or effective. And this is why if I was able to employ my critical thinking skills, I would not have spoken out or yelled at the waiter in the first place and become a more effective individual. And then finally with the emotions, and I want to concentrate on the emotions specifically because like I said, in history, it's mastering the emotions that allowed us to get to the point of peak of civilization where we are now. But emotions, you guys forget, have a real evolutionary adaptive purpose. What they create basically is instinct. And instinct is like an instant calculation of a situation. They call it an evolutionary calculus. So if you think about a lion jumping in front of your path, you instinctively feel fear and the need to flee, to survive. But imagine if the emotions didn't provide that instinct. Imagine you only had your head brain and you had to do a cost versus benefit analysis of the situation every time you were faced with something like that. The lion would have killed you already. So there's actually a real important intelligence in your body from your emotions. The instincts is quite obvious, but with your emotions as well, there's a really important intelligence. And I want to just relate that back to what I'm saying, is that your body, your heart, tells you when you're overusing your brain. And I want to draw the parallel back to my story about picking up Judith, asking her out on a date. Initially, when I got to the door, like I said, my brain was telling me all these reasons why I shouldn't ask her out. You might get rejected, you're not good enough. And those could have been true or not true, but they were very convincing arguments. But it was my heart that was screaming out to me, letting me know that one side of my brain system was not playing ball. And that's what I want you guys to consider, to listen to the different brains in your body. And when you are able to listen to the different brains in your body, you start getting mental red flags about when you're being ineffective with your actions and with your unresourceful thinking. Now, you guys may ask how exactly or what exactly should I do when I start realizing those mental red flags, when I start keying into them? Well, the only tip that I can give you guys was one that was shared with me again by Elliot Hulse, and it's been really, really effective for me. And that, my friends, is to breathe deeply. Breath is life. It's what brings your systems back into sync. It's what grounds you. This is the reason why when people say that you're nervous or you're angry, to take 3 big deep breaths, because when you oxygenate yourself, oxygenate your body, it clears your mind and grounds you back to your being, your singularity. And this is when you are able to see things for what they really are. When you bring all the systems back down, back into sync, into one unit, you'll be able to employ those critical thinking skills. Now, my friends, I hope that bit of information was useful to you. Just remember what I said. Next time that you feel that one of your brains is going out of whack, just breathe, okay? Just breathe.